Good morning. My name is Mandy Winders, and I'm a member of this congregation. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, our Director of Religious Exploration, Lexi Tangney, our Music Director, Alex Peach, and my fellow worship associates, and of course, our dedicated technical team that is making today's live stream possible. I'd like to welcome you all to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. We are a liberal faith community with a mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, all are welcome here. Do we have anybody this morning visiting us for the first time? Do you mind saying your name and where you're from?
Hi, I'm Megan, and we lived here in Roswell this summer. It's my daughter.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Megan from Roswell. We're so happy to have you with us this morning. All right, I have a lot of announcements. Today we're offering a few adult enrichment offerings. We have the Poetry Forum, which will be here in the sanctuary, Sunday Service Reflections, which will be in Fellowship Hall, and then our Neighborhood Connections Ministry will be downstairs in Fellowship Hall. For youth religious exploration, we're offering crafting with our bridged young adults. That'll be over in Discovery Hall at 11:15. On Christmas Eve, we're offering some fun stuff. We have the Christmas pageant at 4 o'clock. It's going to be really cute. Lots of kids, including mine, so come out and watch us. And then we have the Christmas Eve candlelight service at 7 p.m. And for those intrepid souls, we will be having a Sunday service at 10 a.m. on Christmas morning. It will be a wonderful service full of Christmas storytelling. If you have a Christmas story, real or soon to be real, that you'd like to share next Sunday, please contact Reverend Dave. Our religious exploration team would also like to make known that we do have the fidget corner over on the side for any kids or adults who might need something to keep their hands busy during the service. There's plenty of fidget toys and whatnot. And then finally, the next UU 101 is going to be held on January 15th at 11:15 to 12:45 p.m. and January 22nd at 11:15 to 12:45 p.m. If you're new to our congregation or to Unitarian Universalism or are considering becoming a member of UUMAN or just want a refresher on the basic tenets of our faith, this 2-session class is for you. You will learn about Unitarian Universalism, our welcoming culture, and long history of social justice. You will learn all about UUMAN and our great programs and get a tour of the campus. You may register at the greeter table in the lobby.
As we gather here together with a song of glee and mirth, sing we now, good friends, with pleasure, singing songs of peace on earth. La 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 la. Join us all in celebration, sing we now this festive day. La 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 la. Join us all in celebration, sing we now this festive day. Sing we now this festive day. La 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 la.
Good morning. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah begins this evening at sundown. This morning's call to worship is by Lorenzo Bassman, who writes, "We honor the great mystery of the universe, the source of all, which deems everything sacred by its power to unite us and give us the radiance that we bring forth together as we celebrate this festival of lights. We also celebrate the spirit of life, wellspring of all that we perceive and imagine, as we look upon the reverence, the wondrous great fortune which is bestowed upon our ancestors throughout antiquity. We cherish the wonder of each thing, the order of the universe that binds us together with all of nature, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season. And now let us light our chalice together.
Please join me in reading the chalice lighting words that are in the program. Spark of light, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. And now please rise and body your spirit and join us in singing hymn 1018 in your softback hymnal. Alex will play through one time before we join in singing.
A long time ago, in a place far away, there lived a farmer who lived alone with his son. And they had a horse, which the horse was used to plow the fields. But one night, the horse ran away. And the people in the town are like, oh my gosh, this is such horrible news, bad news. How are you going to plow the field yourself? And the farmer said, well, it could be bad. It could be good. Don't know yet. And the people said, no, this is pretty much bad news. Well, the next day, the horse came back, and it brought with him another horse, a beautiful stallion. And the people were like, wow, this is such great good news. Now you have two horses to plow your field. It won't take as long. And the farmer said, could be good, could be bad. Don't know yet. And they're like, oh no, we're pretty sure this is good news. Well, the next day, the farmer's son starts to train the horse and making some progress, but he ends up being thrown from the horse and breaks his leg. And the people are like, oh my gosh, this is bad news. Now you're going to have to care for the whole farm yourself because your son is unable to work. And the farmer said, could be bad, could be good. Don't know yet. Well, the next day, the emperor of the land, created war on a neighboring area, and he sent all his military officers out into the countryside to conscript anyone into military service who could serve. And they came to the farmer's house, and there was the son with a broken leg. They couldn't take him. The people in the townspeople were like, wow, what good news. Your son won't have to go fight in that unjust war. And the farmer said, could be good, could be bad. Don't know yet. And this went on and on and on. And that's how life is. The moral of the story, that we can't really predict outcomes based upon past events. As situations shift, new possible outcomes and contexts develop. Things seem to be entangled, always in process.
At this point in our service, we share our joys with each other to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward, drop a pebble into the bowl, and express a joy or sorrow that you may have. For anyone attending via our live stream, if you have a joy or sorrow that you would like to share this morning, please type it into the chat.
I'm Amanda Brawley, a member of this congregation. I have one concern that I will keep secret. And a joy. Happy birthday, Bruce.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Stevens, and I'm a member of this congregation, and I have a concern today for my brother-in-law. His name is Mike, and he has been in the hospital for about 6 weeks now. He has many, many conditions, but he fell recently and broke several ribs, and that has created some lung problems and recurring pneumonia. But anyway, the long story short, he's going into skilled nursing care, and we expect that he won't be returning home. So please, for my sister and my niece and nephew and families, keep them in your thoughts. Thank you.
Hello, y'all. I'm Jake Sedona Kopolaski, and I haven't been to this church in probably about 10 years. But today I can say I'm officially cancer-free, so I am experiencing a very good joy.
Hi, everyone. This is John Burkhart. Jennifer ran a class last week and reminded me that UUMAN is available as an option on Amazon Smile. So every time you make a purchase on Amazon, they'll make a donation to UUMAN. So if you have any questions, you can ask me about that. But go ahead, make those donations. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tanya, a member of this congregation. Not only is it Amazon Smile, but Kroger as well. If you sign up and put UUMAN as your community, they will give. So, and those that don't know, Dirk Bender is home from the hospital.
My name is Bob Pop. I'm a member of the congregation also. This is a long time coming, dropping this pebble of concern. I have a nephew who is, I forget how old, but he has kidney disease. It's a genetic thing that he got from his father who died, who had it. And anyways, his kidneys are failing, and Rosie appears to be a match, so she is going through the process of figuring out whether she can donate a kidney to him. But anyways, it's a tough situation for everybody. So this is a pebble of concern for him, Gene Fox.
too tender to share. May we keep one another in our thoughts in the coming week.
Sweet singing in, sweet singing in, sweet singing. The holly and the ivy, when they are both full grown, of all the trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown. The rising of the sun, the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a blossom, the holly bears a blossom, as white as lily flower, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to be our sweet Savior. The rising of the sun, the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a berry as red as any blood, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to do us sinners good. The rising of the sun, the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. Sweet singing, sweet singing, singing in the
And now a reading, Why Do We Exist by John Fire Lame Deer. All creatures exist for a purpose. Even an ant knows what its purpose is. Not with its brain, but somehow it knows. Only human beings have come to a point where they no longer know why they exist. They don't use their brains, and they have forgotten the secret knowledge of their bodies, their senses, or their dreams. They don't use the knowledge the Spirit has put into every one of them. They are not even aware of this, and so they stumble along blindly on the road to nowhere, a paved highway which they themselves bulldoze and make smooth so that they can get faster to the big empty hole which they'll find at the end, waiting to swallow them up. It's a quick, comfortable superhighway, but I know where it leads to. I've seen it. I've been there in my vision, and it makes me shudder to think about it.
The idea of progress is a relatively recent phenomenon. Philosophy professor Lawrence Calhoun says, the 18th century Enlightenment generally invented the idea of progress. Throughout human history, human civilizations and tribal local cultures have not generally accepted that the future is going to be better than the present. They would have recoiled at the idea. The future to them is to repeat the present, and both are to repeat the past. For human cultures, the great age, the golden age, was when our ancestors behind us spoke directly to the gods, or where our heroic ancestors roamed the earth. That is simply shocking to me. Because in our culture here today, we seem to be all about progress. And progress has given us many good things: medicine, advances in healthcare, advances in communications, electric guitars, Betamax video cassette recorders, other things, right? You shout something out, something that's progress that has given us, that's good. Anything. Coffee makers. Toothbrush. Yes. Shoes. Yes. Progress has made it, relatively speaking, for those, compared to our ancestors from thousands of years ago, life relatively convenient and easy. And many have used the tools of progress, the advancements and technologies of progress, though, for personal enrichment. Yet a price is to be paid for progress. In service to this life of convenience and ease and personal enrichment, everything seems to be subservient to this God of progress. And progress can dehumanize people, living, breathing entities, being viewed as tools, a means to an end. People as a means to an end, or tool, a means to someone else's personal enrichment. We recognize this, we understand it, we see it in our culture and in our workplaces. But here's something not many of us seem to understand. that also subservient to this God of progress, in the process of that, we denaturize nature. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the land that feeds us. We see nature, a living, breathing entity, as a tool, often merely a means to an end. Ontology is a word philosophers use to describe the nature of being. Okay, so let's say God. What is God? Is God a man? Is God a woman? Like a person? Is God this entity that's omniscient and all-knowing, but doesn't really have a self or a body? Or is God an essence or a spirit, or is it in all things? Those are ontological discussions about God. What is the nature of God's being? That's an example. We seem to understand the ontology of humans, humanity. It's us. It's who we are. But I don't think we really understand, recognize the ontology of nature. For many of us, it's no entity at all. It's an invisible non-being in a way. It has no beingness of its own. For most of us, it's just a place where we do stuff, and that's it. Now, native peoples and followers of earth-centered traditions and many pagan traditions are attuned to the ontology of nature as a living being. For example, as part of a Navajo blessing ceremony, the spiritual leader will recite the following words: with everything having life, with everything having the power of speech, with everything having the power to breathe, with everything having the power to teach and guide. With that in blessing we will live. you can never be alone in the woods. That's impossible. Perhaps the rest of us are just now beginning to understand that this thing in which we do stuff might have a beingness of its own. In our quest for progress to infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear would say in Toy Story, this thing, let's call it nature, is seeming to assert itself in the form of more and more severe storms, hurricanes, floods, wildfires. Yes, I know you've all seen that. Some have long recognized nature's assertion, its response to our ideas of progress, and have said or have tried to alert us to the irreparable damage that we're doing to the environment, other species, and ourselves. And many have said we've already gone too far, that we've done too much damage, that our species and others are in a state of irreversible collapse. They say, how are we to live in a time of collapse, this period of crisis and catastrophe? They say we are in the midst of abrupt climate mayhem and the runaway collapse of societal harmony, health of the biosphere, that everything is circling the drain. We're collapsing socially, economically, climate-wise, food-wise, energy-wise. Are the collapsitarians right? They have a lot of evidence to back them up. They say that our needs are greater than the biosphere's carrying capacity, the capacity of the biosphere to carry us, sustain us. Is this bad news? It could be bad. It could be good. Yet there's likely other scientific evidence that could reveal another way forward. Here's something I came across. In 1948, ecologist William Vogt wrote that despite technology, no species can forever exceed the environment's carrying capacity. However, in the last few decades, innovations in genetics, energy generation, and transportation have led to technological progress that has expanded the carrying capacity of our planet time and time again. And who knows, just this week, it was announced that a laboratory in California had completed its first energy-producing fusion reaction, producing the same reaction as what takes place on the sun. Could this be a pathway to clean power generation? Could it be a good thing? Well, it could be good, but it could be bad. We don't know yet. Progress has led to the development of good things and bad things. It extracts a heavy price, and future generations will have to deal with what we've done. Could we have done better? Yes. Can we do better? Absolutely. Will what we do be perfect? Probably not. What can we do? Well, the first thing that needs to be done, something that is generally agreed upon by the collapsitarians, the non-collapsitarians, and all those in between, is to recognize the beingness of nature as a living, breathing entity, to recognize the beingness of nature, to be in covenant and in right relationship with its beingness. That it's not a tool for personal achievement, it's not a means to an end. And if we treat nature, its beingness, as an it, as an other, as a place where we do stuff, it just doesn't work. Unless we uncover, unless we find, unless we rediscover and draw forth from our inherent wisdom, connection to this natural world, we'll continue to, as John Fire Lame Deer said in the reading this morning, we'll continue to stumble along blindly on a road to nowhere, a paved highway with a big empty hole at the end waiting to swallow us up. In our collective heart of hearts, we know we don't want to live that way. And when I say we, I mean we, all of us, connected, integrated, along with the natural world. Once truly integrated and in relationship, we will find ourselves changed. And the things that we need to do to remain in covenant in the right relationship will flow naturally from there. With everything having life, with everything having the power of speech, with everything having the power to breathe, with everything having the power to teach and guide, with that and blessing, we will live.
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share of their time, treasure, and talents. And with this, we will now take the offering. You may also give using the Givelify app.
Thank you, Alex. We accept this sacred offering generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission.
Should you opt in or opt out by the Carbon Almanac Network? A quick online search for email carbon demonstrates that the internet thinks email is a significant contributor to greenhouse gases. It's tempting to believe that less email offers an easy answer because it seems like a fairly painless way to take action. It's also a useful example because we're confronted with choices like this every day. Should we give up and realize we are each simply a drop in the ocean, unable to make a difference, or do we act and try to make an impact? There are 300 billion emails sent every single day. Your absence on email, even if you're an evil spammer, is unlikely to be noticed or even missed. But what if you used email to organize 1,000 people to get an offshore wind farm approved? That single action would make a coal plant obsolete. That single coordinated activity aimed at changing the system would, by one estimate, remove 6 million metric tons of greenhouse gases a year. When disconnected, each of us can accomplish very little. It won't matter a bit if we opt out. But we have far more leverage when we rally as a community to change systems. And now please rise and body your spirit for the singing of hymn 1074, which can be found in your softback hymnal. Again, Alex is going to play through one time before we join in. And now let us extinguish our chalice. Josie. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice.
What a choir. Chris Martinson writes, plant a garden, meet your neighbors, practice generosity, learn new skills, control what you can, leave the rest. Sing and rejoice, go in peace, and enjoy your week.